Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 15 of this 30-day Living an Authentic Life Challenge. I am Tanya E, and today for this challenge, we are having a deeper conversation about community. Because when you're a part of a community, what disturbs your community often disturbs you. I know that there's been plenty of moments where I have been able to truly sympathize and empathize with the brokenness of individuals around me. And that's only taken place because there's a difference between those two things. When you have an experience of what is really happening with somebody, what they're walking through, what they're dealing with, your firsthand knowledge about that, you show empathy. You show empathy because you have often been in their shoes and you know exactly what it feels like to be there, to go through that pain, to go through that trauma, to go through those emotions. But if you haven't, then that's where sympathy comes in. And all you can give is something that you have just a sorrow, a compassion. And we should be sympathetic and empathetic. But it is often empathy that gives you an opportunity to provide effective solutions for a community. You see, there are a lot of individuals that are trying to find solutions for communities that they know nothing about. There's been often sometimes a person has given me what they perceived as great insight, and the information that they gave was good. However, because it was not directly dealing with some of the pieces that I was walking in, there wasn't much I can do with it. You see, when you are concerned for the broken places of those individuals that are around you, and you have walked in their shoes or have a greater insight about what they are experiencing, because there is a big difference between theoretical knowledge and that tangible physical knowledge that you are experiencing. There's a grand difference. And when you are, just from a scientific perspective, walking through the experiment, when you have a theory until it is tested, or until you walk through the experience, you don't really know if it works. And there's times that we end up in places where there's some people that are providing solutions to problems that they can't give a great insight on because they've never been there. They don't know the experience or the heartache that comes from being a single mother. So if you're trying to give solutions from a perspective where you have never been in a broken family, it is difficult. There's knowledge that you can't provide because there are hidden undertones and unwritten elements that exist in the seat of a soul of a person like that. Because those things are things that you often are too ashamed to say, are often put in a position where you just don't want anybody knowing your business. For an individual that has been raised in an environment with my grandmother, and I am so grateful for her because she gave me love that is unmeasurable. She gave me insight that I continue to use today. A lot of y'all on this challenge have already heard some of my grandmother's stated. But there was also the piece that I was missing in my childhood. I know what it is like from a child's perspective to not have your mother or your father present while you're growing up. I can tap into those emotional moments and see sometimes the silent brokenness in the eyes of a child, just pleading those things that they don't even yet know how to express. That is where community is most effective. You see, it's when you walk into a space as an individual in community that you can fill in the gap that often people don't quite know what to do in those moments. You see, if you're in a situation where you're not sure how to fill in that gap for that situation because you haven't experienced it, then what can you truly, truly give when you see the silent cries, but you don't know really what it means? Sometimes when you're in a position like I once was, having to raise my sons by myself, recognizing that there's a deficiency in what you bring to the table, not because there's anything that's inherently wrong with you. The element that God designed you to be is true, and it is there, and that's how it's supposed to be. But there's a reason there's a mother and a father. There are pieces that my sons needed that I am not equipped to give. I can give them the perception of manhood that I wish I would have, and often some of the pieces that I've seen in community that I feel they should take on as characteristics. But it takes a man to raise a man. And when I found myself as a mother of sons, I had to go find men that can give them an element of manhood. That is why I'm so grateful for the mentors that show up in the world. That is why I'm so grateful for the men that stand in the gap for children that are not even theirs. It is in community that we get the chance to have a deeper element of who we are and what can take place. It is in community that those broken pieces can be shored up. Because there, if there's one person that doesn't have the solution, because you're in community, there's often somebody else there that can provide that answer. So, day 13, community. It means more than you can imagine. It's a support system that you may never really think about. Being a village baby for a long time, I never thought about how much community meant to me. When I have people in my world that don't share the blood that's in my soul, but I can call them aunties, I call them cousins, and they do the same for me. It is in that environment that we are supposed to have always been. When we were put on this planet, it was to be in a collective as a community. So as you go through your journey, see what communities you may be a part of and may not be mindful of like I was. Because of some parts of my world, I thought that everybody had a village around them, only to grow up and discover that there was some people that had brokenness that they could not get resolved because there was no one there to stand in the gap to help repair the wall or provide the solution that they needed in that moment. So for today, I want to encourage you, find the community, be the support, repair the wall. And if you want to have a deeper conversation about this, you need to join us on Zoom. We're going to have a deeper conversation and be community for one another through the process. In the meantime, you need the link, go to my website, tanyaehood.com. There you can click on the registration tab and get the chance to join us today. I'll see you all tomorrow. This is Tanya E. Hood, walking in my purpose, and I want you to do the same.